Hey everybody, it's Jennifer and Allison with AJ & Co. And today we've got another little craft for you with this cute little bunny.
All right, we're so glad you guys could come. Spring is right around the corner, so we're gonna dive into some spring crafts. And the first thing we're gonna show you is this cute little burlap bunny, which I've got in pieces, but by the time we're done, you'll see how it looks. So this board here, another great Big Lots find. This is actually 2 pieces. It was a bigger board and we cut it in half. It had funky little birds on it. It really wasn't our style, but I thought it's really well made. It's very sturdy. I mean, it's a nice wood piece. So it actually broke up to about $2 for this board. Don't you think? About $2? But we just sanded that down, and I went ahead and put a nice coat of white paint on there, but we're gonna go ahead and touch that up just a little bit because I'll show you why this happened. I was just practicing, but we're just gonna touch that up just a tad. And again, we're using this white Waverly paint that we found at Walmart. If you saw our last video, it's that same paint. Just to kind of give it a nice little base, and I'm just kind of touching it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, all white. I kind of like a little bit of the wood grain kind of showing through in places. And if you wanted to, I've seen people go by and they put in some brown in there to kind of give it some dimension if you wanted to. So what we're doing today is we're making this burlap bunny, and I have to tell you, I had to make a pattern first for my burlap bunny. So I kind of cut out my bottom piece and then I made my ears and really got it the way I wanted to. The great thing about this, the versatility of it, is that you can use the same pattern. You don't have to make it out of burlap, of course, but you could make this out of paper. If you have a Cricut, you could cut out a stencil. If you even have a printer, you could cut out a silhouette of a bunny and then use that for your stencil. But if you don't like the burlap, you could use this paper here and cut out your bunny there and put it on this pretty paper. Or you could cut it out of some fabric. I think I'd probably turn it this way with the fabric. And then kind of cut out your bunny there and use that on your board. This fabric here, another great find, was at our local Dollar General. And it was marked down 70% off. So I think the manager was just trying to get rid of it, so she gave it to me for 80 cents. So it's a really good quality fabric that we can use for our bunny. And don't discount, thinking outside the box when you're looking for fabric. You don't necessarily have to go to a fabric store and get a bolt of fabric. You can use tablecloths or old napkins or anything like that. So I went ahead, and because I wanted to use the burlap, I went ahead and used the burlap and I cut my bunny. And I'm going to use a glue gun to stick my pieces down. And that's really because I want to be able to take it off later. If I want to use this board for something else, I like to switch out my decorations, but I might like this size, so I'll take this bunny off and do something else for a different holiday. So we'll just kind of tack our bunny down. All right, so our bunny, I really like the gingham and the buffalo plaid. I just feel like that's really cute with our decor. So I went ahead and I've pre-cut my ribbons, and I'm gonna go ahead and tack those down. Then, because I'm going to use this gingham, you'll see it later. And I'm going to do one more at the top.
This is a good way too to use up some scrap ribbon. Maybe you don't have a whole big piece of it, but you need just enough to go across there, and you could just use a scrap piece that you might already have.
So then I'm going to make a really easy bow. I'm not great at making bows, but I found this tutorial about these really simple bows that you can make, and I've just cut out some of this burlap ribbon, some more of that orange, some of that gingham on there. You just kind of layer it like that, and then I'm going to take a piece of jute and I'm going to tie it in the middle. I'm just going to cut off the end here, these extra little pieces, and then I am going to go ahead and glue that up at the top.
Is this going up?
Yep. I'm going to glue that up at the top. And then I have these little carrots. We used these in our last video that we made. Again, they were from Dollar Tree. They're so cute. And just to tie that orange in that we have on the bottom, I'm going to put a little bit more glue over here. And then I'm just going to stick my little carrots up here. Make sure that they're stuck. I don't want to pick it up and my carrots fall off. Alright. And then this is it's a bunny tail from a children's costume section from Dollar Tree. And so we're going to use that for our little bunny on the bottom. It's so cute. We just had to take the little clip that was on it where you clip it to your clothes. Just make sure that sticks down really good. I'm going to put a little bit more glue here because that bunny tail is a little heavy, just to make sure that it doesn't stick. And there you go. We're so glad that you were able to come see today and just make this simple craft with us. I think it'll look so cute. We'll show it later how you can kind of display this on your counter or put it on your mantle or your entryway table, anything like that.
Hey everybody, we're back again with another craft. Today I'm going to make a little Hello Spring sign. So I picked up this little cute sign from Dollar Tree, and while it's precious, it's not what I want, but I love the shape of it. So I'm going to turn it over, and on the back, I went ahead and I painted it out a nice gray. I used this home decor chalk paint that I picked up at my local Walmart. And I'm going to come back in with a little bit of white Waverly chalk, and I'm just going to put a few little accent lines in it. I'm going to dab a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to come through and just kind of mark it. It just kind of gives it a little more depth and a little more interest. It doesn't look so flat in the back. All right, so I'm just going to take some of this white paint, and I'm just going to come in here and put a few accents in it. Like this, just gives a little bit of movement and depth. And I'm really not crazy about this bunny on the back for what I'm doing for my project. So you can always take like a piece of craft paper and come back in and just cover the back of that up. This one I would kind of line it up, cut it down, and then trace out my shape to finish off the top. So what I'm gonna put on here though, is I'm gonna put some cute little flowers. I found these cute little galvanized flowers at Dollar Tree. I even found some that were fabric, which they had them in a bag of 4, and they're actually coasters. But I thought that it would be cute if I layered that on top of my galvanized flower. And then I found this. This is actually a long piece of garland with white daisies, and I've cut a few of those off and a few leaves, and I'm going to layer that up on here as well to kind of make my first little top piece of embellishment. And then I found this cute little package of carrots, and I've already painted some of these carrots out. I put a little bit of raffia around the neck just to give it a little more texture. So I'll show you what I did with this to show you how I did my shading and everything else. So I took a little bit of this orange paint. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out here on my carrot. Thank you, Allison. I think she knows how to do this in her place.
Your paint a little bit more life when it starts to dry out like that was. If you have a color that you really enjoy, you can just add a little bit of water in there and kind of shake it up and kind of make that paint go a little bit longer.
Too, I want to give this a little bit of depth, so I'm going to come back in with a little bit of this lighter orange. I'm going to use the same brush that I used before, and again I'm going to put some on. I'm going to kind of knock most of it back off again, and I'm going to come in and kind of give it, you know, like the little highlights and lines that you see in natural carrots. You know, nothing's perfect in nature, and nothing's perfect here. So I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of that. Again, it gives it a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture. And you could even come back in with some of the white or some of this base gray. I put a little bit of that into these, which I won't do today, but I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do the same across the top. I've got this dark green. little bit of this in here. Use that, and I'm going to paint the top of my carrot. And if you are concerned about your colors bleeding, you could always take a piece of painter's tape and kind of come in and paint, put the piece of tape across here and kind of mask off the place that you don't want the other colors. Because I already have all the carrots I need, I'm not too concerned about this bleeding over on this particular one. So I'm going to color the top of my carrot, and then I'm going to come back in with this light green. And this one's a little dried out and needs some TLC, but I'm going to put just a little bit on my brush. And then I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to kind of go just around a little on the edges, maybe down in some areas that perhaps would have a little bit of shading naturally or something. But again, just to give it a little bit of interest. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You just do it to your personal taste. So there's just really quickly kind of a way that you can dress up your little carrots.
And if you really don't like the little holes in your carrots, you want to maybe put some wood filler in there and sand it down, you can do that. I don't really think it's a big deal, but I know some people like to go ahead and fill those holes in, but that's your preference and how much you want to do with it.
Those holes aren't bothering me today, so I'm not sure about it. And then I just took some green raffia and wrapped it around the necks. And again, to me, this just adds a little bit of movement to it, a little more texture to my piece so it doesn't look so flat. Makes it look a little more three-dimensional. I'm just going to wrap that around, bring it back to the front, and tie it off. It's always easier to do when your fingers cooperate. Thank you. It's a little long. I'll cut it a little short. Okay. And so I had a thought about taking this sign and actually making it two-sided. And I was thinking what I might do is, instead of hot gluing my embellishments down onto my sign, I have some sticky back Velcro, and I actually glue my embellishments together, and then I'm going to put the Velcro on the back and stick them down. So if I decide to put something on the other side, I can pull these off and they won't show through from the back. So let me show you. First, I'm going to glue my carrots together. So maybe if there's one that you kind of like the coloring of best, you can pick that one to be on the top, which I kind of like this guy, I guess. Thanks, Allison. Put a little glue on here. Like I say, instead of hot gluing them now onto this, I'm just going to put a piece of this Velcro on the back and stick it to the board. This Velcro is really functional for a lot of different things, and I really do love it in crafts because it makes it, I don't know, you kind of have a way that you can change things up and make them a little less permanent. If I wanted to use this board for something else, I could just pull these things right off, pull the Velcro off, and put something else on it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because you don't always maybe want to keep it Easter, or you want to change it to fall, and you like the shape of the board that you're making, you can just tailor it to what you need.
Let's try to get this bit off. Will you peel that for me, please? While she's peeling that for me, I'm going to go ahead and put my flower together. So I'm just going to take a touch of my hot glue on the back of my purple flower here. And I like that these are two different shapes. And again, you know, I was at Dollar Tree just kind of looking around. I just happened to come across these coasters, and I just thought they were so pretty. I thought they would make a great, you know, just flower on something else. Or a coaster. Daisy on there. And again, this is a way, this little package of garland has probably a dozen to 20 of these daisies inside. I could really use them for a lot of different projects, or use them all together. There's some little leaves. All right, so I'm just going to put that on the back. I'm going to kind of offset my flower a little bit. I kind of like it when the things hang over the edge. My carrots, I really want this edge of my carrot to line up with the bottom edge of my board. This And then I went on my Cricut and I cut out this cute little image. It just says Hello Spring. And these are things that you can find around that are pre-made, but thankfully I have a Cricut that my husband bought me several years ago, so I thought I would just cut this out for myself. And I'm just gonna put it on the middle of the board. Peel this off from the back end. Let me get a tool over here to help us out.
So I think if you saw our last video, we also had those Hello Spring decals that we saw at Target, right? At the dollar spot. So if you don't have a Cricut and you want to make this board, you can also pick one of those up from Target and use those on your board.
And these decals are everywhere now. I see them everywhere. I've seen them at TJ Maxx in the clearance aisle. I've seen them, at Target in the dollar spot. Dollar Tree has them. They're just so popular, and I really think it's great that the manufacturers are trying to make things accessible for everyone, because not everybody is fortunate enough to have a die cut machine and things of that nature. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it here, put it down on my board.
And I think really that just kind of makes it look professional when you have that cutout decal with those letters as opposed to painting it on or writing it on. I think it just really makes it look a little more put together.
And you could make this any color you want. I made it white. Maybe now in hindsight, white wasn't necessarily the best color choice with the white that's on the board, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll look cute, serve the purpose for as long as I'm gonna have it up. Seriously, I need my ball. This little ball works to push down the decal all around the edges of the words and really pushes it down into whatever you're trying to put it on. Let's see if that helps. And that actually came from 651 vinyl, where I get most of my vinyl. There we go. It did the trick. There we go. And then just to finish it off, I'm going to come back and I'm going to put me a little bit of jute up here at the top so I could hang it on the door if I wanted to, or I could sit it up on my mantle or just up on the counter. Maybe pair it off with something else that I may already have. But again, it's just a good way to kind of finish it off, give it a little versatility. The excess. So there we go. A quick little easy sign. Mostly Dollar Tree parts. It was $1 for the board, $1 for a pack of carrots, and there's actually 8 of these carrots in the pack. And then $1 for these. So for about $5, $6, we made this cute little sign. And because I put it on here with the Velcro, I can actually pull these pieces right off, take them off, and then I could actually turn my sign over and put something else on the back and have 2 signs in one. Anyway, thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this, and we look forward to bringing you other little crafts. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, or maybe some thoughts that you have, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.